Hey everybody, welcome to Leather Pros. Today we're going to be showing you how to install the Retro Series V2 Dyna saddlebags. Alright, in your hardware kit you will find a set of instructions, bolts of 3 different lengths, 2 different lengths of spacers, and 4 nuts. Follow the instructions to determine which bolts you will need and what spacers to use. One thing I do want to address, because there's been a fair bit of confusion about this, is this piece right here, which we call the nut plate in our instructions. There's 2 different versions of this part. One is if you have a 2006 or newer Dyna, it came with a part just like this, where this goes on the inside of your fender, holds on your strut covers, the bolt goes through the front, and the back is where your turn signals are mounted. In the front it has a threaded hole, but in the rear it just has a 5/16 tube that's not threaded. If you have that part, just remove it from your bike and use nuts instead. Our bolts won't fit through the rear hole. We did provide the right size bolts. Don't replace them with narrower bolts to fit through that hole. Just ditch this part and use nuts on the inside of your fender instead. Now, if you have a Harley detachable sissy bar, it comes with this part exactly that has both of these holes threaded. If that's the case, our bolts will thread into both of them and you can just use this part. One other thing I want to mention before we get the bags mounted up on the bike is our bolts. That with the bolts that we provide, the head diameter is a little bit larger than the machine spacer here that we dock the bags onto. It's really important that you only use these bolts. If you're having some problems and the bolts that we use won't fit, don't try to sub in something like a regular socket cap screw, because the head is too small, there's no lip on the end, and the bags can just slide right off. Same thing with a hex head bolt. It's a little bit bigger, but there's still not enough of a lip there at the edge, and your bags will slide right off the bolt. If you're having some problems mounting the bags with the hardware that we provided, don't try to improvise something. Just give us a call and let us know your situation, and we will do our best to work with you to make sure that your bags are mounted safely. Alright, to mount the bags, we're going to replace the bolts one at a time here. Alright, now we got the first one out. How we're going to line this up is just like this. And this is if you're not running a detachable sissy bar. You want the bolt with our 3/4 inch machine spacer and then the 1/2 inch chrome spacer. I'm going to be running a detachable sissy bar on this bike, so instead of using the 1/2 inch chrome spacer, we're going to use Harley's detachable sissy bar mounting hardware. Now I also have a chrome recess cover. Depending on how you moved your turn signals or what kit you've gotten, this comes with Harley's detachable sissy bar kit. You might have one of these or not. You don't need it. If you have one, go ahead and use it. Alright, now on to the front. Alright, mounting these is the same in the front. If you are not using a detachable sissy bar, just line it up just like this. 3/4 inch machine spacer, then the 1/2 inch chrome spacer. Otherwise, if you have a detachable sissy bar, ditch the 1/2 inch chrome spacer and just use the hardware from Harley. And one more thing I forgot to mention before, don't forget to use Loctite on these bolts. I'm not using it because this is just for in the shop, but make sure you use Loctite. They will vibrate out without it. Alright, to mount the bags, we're just going to lift up on this handle and then slide the bracket onto the 2 studs. Alright, now when you're sliding the bags onto the posts, you need to make sure that they completely cover the docking points. You see here that it's not quite all the way on. They need to be lifted up a little bit and slid over so that you can lock the bags onto the bike. Then just push down on the handle again. You should feel it snap into place, kind of like when you squeeze a vice grip. Should take about 25 to 30 pounds of pressure to get it to close. If that doesn't sound right, you're probably going to need to adjust your bracket the first time you use it and continuing on from there a few times as it wears in. We'll show you how to do that in just a minute here. After you've pushed down the handle, you'll want to turn this knob to the vertical position. Now this is the safety on the bags, just to make sure that nothing bad happens, so don't ride without it. This is just in case if you have a passenger and they're looking for a place to put their hands and they find the handles of your bags, that they can't pull them up off of your bike. Now this also acts as the anti-theft, so it just turns in the key, take it out, can't turn this knob anymore, bags can't come off. Then to remove the bags, just put that key back in, turn the knob, get this closed up here, then lift up on the handle, and they come right off. Alright, to adjust your bags, just lift up on this handle and slide it backwards. That'll place this adjuster piece over a hole in the bracket, which allows this nut to spin freely. Follow the markings on these stickers to determine which way you should spin this nut. T will make it tighter, L will make it looser. Now when you're adjusting this nut, you might find that it gets to a point where it hits up against the side of this metal piece here, and it stops spinning. That doesn't mean that you're at the edge of the adjustable range of the bracket. All you need to do is pull on this handle a little bit. You can see the nut moved a little bit in this window, and then you should be able to spin it freely again. Once you've adjusted it, slide the handle forward again, and then lock the bags onto the bike. You want it to have about 25 to 30 pounds of clamping pressure. Alright, that's all we got for you today. If you have any questions on mounting up your bags, please don't hesitate to contact us. You can find our information on our website or just go ahead and comment on this video. Thanks a lot for watching and enjoy your bags.